Hi there, welcome to Single Dads Unplugged. This is season 5. We are all about building bonds between fathers and their kids and breaking stereotypes. I'm so excited this season because we're bringing a lot of people that have got great insights about fatherhood, about parenting, about co-parenting. And at this time, I'd like to introduce my next guest, Simphiwe Kanityi, and my brother. Welcome to Single Dads Unplugged, and it's so good to see you. And please introduce yourself, your background. We're going to talk about your book later, who you are, where you come from, your profession, and also your role as a father and a parent.
Thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be here to chat with you, especially in relation to fatherhood.
Yes.
A topic that I'm passionate about, but we'll talk about that. Firstly, I'm Simphiwe. Kanityi is my surname from my mother's side, and Silosini will be my surname from my father's side, and we'll hear later why do I have to mention that specifically.
Yes, Silosini,
yeah.
You were talking to me about that,
I'm from Eastern Cape originally, a very small town, Indwe.
Indwe, okay.
Yeah, and I grew up when I was born. Okay, the story goes like I was born in the village.
Okay.
And then when I was still very young, I moved to the farms.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I grew up in the farms.
Yeah.
And only moved to a small town Indwe later in life when I was.
And you did the schooling there?
I did my schooling on the farms.
Okay.
Then I went after matric to go to a small
then
town.
When do you land in Joburg or Gauteng?
Joburg, it was later, 2014.
Yeah.
Post my studies, I did journalism and media studies at Rhodes University, Grahamstown.
Oh, you went to Rhodes, okay.
Yes, and I worked a little bit there for Rhodes Music Radio as a head of news department.
Oh, okay.
Doing also other jobs for other stations.
Other stations as well.
Training their anchors because I'm big on training.
Okay.
News anchors, producers, and that.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So I came to Joburg in 2014.
And still within the media?
Yes.
Within the media industry?
Yeah, I came here to work specifically for ENCA.
Oh, okay.
As a news producer.
Producer, okay.
Until 2018.
2018.
Then I took a break and now I'm working for National Empowerment Fund.
Oh, yeah, National Empowerment Fund. Okay.
Yes, as their social media manager.
And the social media manager. Oh, that's great. So that's an amazing career, my brother. And now, talk to us about your upbringing. And I was talking to you earlier, understanding your upbringing while you were down in Eastern Cape. Were you raised by mother and grandmom?
I was raised mainly by my grandmother.
Okay.
Because when I grew up, my family setting is that we had this strong woman who was my grandmother who was holding everyone under her wings.
Together, yes.
We were many kids. And when you grow up, you don't know who is who in the jungle because everyone is here. My aunts are here.
It's a lot of people.
My uncle are here. You don't know who is who. And as you grow up, then you get to know, you should have a mother and a father. Now, who is my mother amongst the people who are here?
Because there's just so many.
When you grow up in that environment, it's cultural environment.
Yeah.
So everyone is your mother.
Yes, of course.
You don't have to have a specific person.
To auntie or bonke or babiza.
So only later in life, I got to realize that my mom was not there. My mom was in Joburg, working in Joburg.
In Joburg,
And will come back during the special seasons, your Easter and your Christmas only.
So your relationship was really with grandma?
It was with grandma. So I regarded my grandmother as my mother.
As mother, okay. So when did you start really inquiring about your real mom, or did you form a relationship soon at elementary school level?
So what happens is that, many people, because I've written a book in Pursuit of My Father, which details my story of the absent father.
Yeah.
But I do say that the absence of my father doesn't mean that my mother was present.
Oh, that's
Although
interesting.
I grew up in my mother's side, it doesn't.
So you can't assume,
was
it doesn't
present.
mean she was
You
present.
see, because we grew up, I'm still now in courtship with my mom, trying to build a bond.
Even today,
Even today, because my mom was always in Joburg. I
working
stayed with my granny. She will come back for a few days,
and go back
Christmas,
again.
and go back to Joburg. She eventually
Did
got
she-
married and had other
Oh,
kids.
she also
in Joburg.
married somewhere else.
Yes. So, we didn't have that relationship
As
that
well.
much.
And did she ever sit you down to explain your parental situation in terms of this is who your father is, he's not here or he's there? Did you really have a sit down with her at some point so she could explain where your
Okay.
father was?
So this is how it goes. That side
Okay.
is that you grow up, you don't question
Okay.
anything about your upbringing. As long as you have food, you have
Got
shelter,
the necessities.
that
Yeah.
should be enough according to their mentality and their cultural perspective.
Yes.
So I only got to realize that something was missing when you're playing with other boys outside.
Oh,
You
okay.
fight with other boys, you beat them, their father comes out to face you.
Ah, to fetch you.
They beat you, you cry, you go home, no one goes out.
No one goes out to ask what was
to ask
happening.
what is happening. Then you'll be told to go and fight or to just sit here and not go to play with them.
Yeah.
Like, where is the person? There,
Who's supposed to
there's
protect.
a man who comes out to
Yes.
protect them from me.
Yes.
And I have to do all these things by myself. Something is not normal.
So then you began to question that.
Who is that person who always come? I'm gonna go and tell my father.
My
Okay,
dad.
there's someone who's called the father. I've never heard about this. Like who is the father? Like what kind of a person
What
is
kind
the
of
father?
a person?
Well, I don't know that. Because even at home, I think my uncle left when I was very young. My
Yes.
older uncle. So I grew up with my older brother and my uncle, of which were almost the same age. So there was no male figure role that they were playing in my life. It was just a group of women around us.
Yeah.
So now, when you come back, that house, they have a father. So-and-so has a father. Where is my father?
Where is it? Then you began to ask.
Then you get some hiding. They beat you.
Stop asking.
Why do you bring things that you hear on the street here at home?
Uthatha izinto zasemgwaqeni.
Uyabo uzozifaka
Uzozifaka
apha
apha
endlini.
endlini.
What do you lack? No,
Ushoda-
I'm not
ushoda
talking
nga-
about lacking. I'm asking
I'm
about
just
this
asking.
person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't ever talk about those things.
So you
have
were
a
discouraged.
house,
You've got all the
from
things.
talking about. So now it became a distant thing, not to entertain, but it made me some more even curious.
But you were still very curious. Yeah.
Very curious. The more I was beaten, discouraged talking about
But still,
this,
you wanted to
the
know.
more I was, and I made it my mission. Hence now, like the content of my book, or the title says, "In Pursuit of My Father."
Because
There,
you
I
wanted to
started
actively
there
look.
for my father. But now the challenge now, because as I was growing up as a boy, there were many other things now that I could see that really I don't have a father. Now it made me to have bitterness and resentment towards him before I even met
even
him.
before meeting him.
And my intention was that when I see him, I'm gonna harm him. I'm gonna kill him.
Wow.
That was my
So
intention.
you were very upset and angry
And
towards him.
angry. Because he is present. We grew up in a cultural infested environment. Everything is about identity.
Yes.
Who am I?
But
when you meet with
when
other
again?
boys, like they will tell you,
Or who do I look like? You wanted to-
where they will tell you their clan names, Basitute,
Basitute,
and you can't. When you say, no, my clan name is Umkwati.
Yeah.
Umkwati, your grand is Umkwati.
Is
Ugren wam.
but how can
Is your mother's mother.
Yes.
So you can't be
can't
Umkwati
be.
as well. I go and find yourself. So you were dismissed like that. You didn't fit socially.
That was all trauma, by the way. I can imagine.
So you can't fit, and there are things now because in the farms it's about fathers perpetuating, passing things to generations generation to generations. So how to learn to drive a tractor, they prioritize their sons to advance to better positions. They prioritize their sons. So there is no one who prioritizes you as their son to say, okay, when the white person is looking for someone to work, to say, my boy can do this. When you're always the last one on the line. It's always their son. So that thing, it made me even bitter some more, because he was not there to set me up for life.
To set you up, yeah.
Identity-wise, that crisis that the ladies that were surrounding me could not feel at home.
Wow.
Because you go to the mountain, Kwaluka.
Yes.
It's a proud thing to have your father to be there.
Usually the fathers go there as well.
The father is the one who organized the whole situation.
The whole thing. And when you come back,
your father ought to have prepared some things that he have to pass
welcome
to you.
They
must give you a dish, they must give you a knife, they must give you a spoon, and all these things, cultural, they mean something. Yes. And they have to speak these words upon your life, blessing you in a way.
Blessing you as manje indoda, not umfana.
As indoda now, to tell you that as a man, this is how you do this. As a man, how you do things. This family, you're protecting this family. You protect your wife when you have a wife.
That was not there.
That person was not there to say those things. So it makes you grow up not having that confidence, because you think something is missing. You try to be a man, you try to do the best that you can do, but it's hard. Because like even other men in the community, they know you're not man enough. You can't be in our setting, you can't be in our surroundings. When we come, you are lesser than us. So that becomes the situation.
Let's talk about when you started thinking about putting the story in the book. But before we get to it, you were telling me that there was a point in your life that you began to really actively look for him or want to meet him. At what stage was that?
All right. So in that environment, my home was not as organized. It was the most dysfunctional space you'll ever think. So I've started drinking alcohol as young as I can remember. Because when you are around men, they are drinking. They give you. Then you can't say no to an older person. So I've started drinking. By the age of 10, already I was drinking.
Wow.
By the age of 11, 12, I would leave home on Friday and come back on Monday. Going from farm to farm, drinking all weekend.
With other boys.
So around that time already, I have this longing for my father. And I don't know where, like you can't actively ask so that you know where is he. So it might happen he is around here. So I am looking for any clues at that moment. If someone, because like I was good at school, I was good in sport.
Yes.
But anyone who showed interest, because they saw how good I was, like I suspected, could this be the one? Because like people, they don't care about me. If he takes interest on me, on what I'm doing, could it be maybe because he's my father? He's trying to show it in a way. So all the time, we play cards and then you win. There's this man around you. Hey, you're a good boy. And on the farms, we give each other these nicknames. So I was given a name to Pomoy. Then when you trace it, like used to go Pomoy Mawa. So this other man had this, and man, you was a kaya when. So now, like you grow up with these mixed feelings. Could it be this one? Why are they calling me this? Why are they calling me this? Is it because maybe? And like so, every time you are constant on the lookout. A man passing by your community.
You try
could
to
this
identify.
Be the one?
Could this be?
Could this be my father? So I started hunting my father at a very early age. When I was excelling at school, I had that thing that I have to excel. Maybe he left because he thought I would be nothing. So if I
have to
achieve
prove
these
yourself.
things to prove himself wrong, maybe he's gonna come back into my life and say that I'm excelling. So I started back then, and then I only heard about his name when I did something wrong at home.
Oh,
And
they will
when you were-
mention when they were beating you.
You are like your father.
You're like so and so.
So and so. So ndalibambela ka. Oh, you're like utata wakho, Buzi.
So they know him, obviously.
They know him.
Yeah.
Then you can't ask.
Also, you're not allowed to ask.
So I kept that name very early. Maybe I was doing
You
standard
memorized. Wow, you
Standard
memorized.
two, memorized that name. So as I was growing up, my intention was to make sure that I succeed in life, but I find my father to kill him, having to put through me such a difficult life. Because it was
very
difficult.
upset with him.
I was upset.
Even before meeting him.
Going to school, I started school. My first day at school was at the age of 10 years. 10 years
So
old.
you started a bit late.
Because the farms, they were far from school. Fathers would put their sons on their shoulders and take them to school.
But when
there was no one. So I had to go to school when I can do
when
it
you
myself.
when you could walk yourself.
Yes, without anyone watching me.
Yeah.
We have to cross rivers overflowing. I have to learn how to cross
And to swim
an
across on
overflowing
your own.
river to go to school, while others, they have their fathers
Someone
holding carrying them to the other side. So all those things, they made me to grow up bitter,
Very bitter. Yeah.
very bitter. I wanted to kill him until I met Christ. I think that's worth important mentioning. Because at school, we used to pray back in the days.
Yes.
We pray in the morning before we start school, and after school, we pray as we are going home. So this morning, this teacher was talking about God as the Father. That resonated with me because it touched the need, because I needed a father, and then you talk about God as a father. So it made me to be curious. And I guess that was God trying to reach out to me, capitalizing on that curiosity. So I pursued him, God, until he spoke to me in a loud voice as I was walking alone on the field, drunk. Then this voice spoke to me. The void inside you will not be filled by the things that you are doing. Because I was drinking, trying to cover this void. I was doing all sorts of
Trying
things.
to hide the
Trying
feeling.
to hide. And deep down, I was drowning. I heard this thing, can someone see that I'm drowning to come and help me in this situation? So until I met God that day, he said, fix your life, then I'll come back and I'll meet you. Then I was a little bit confused. Okay, I knew what I ought to do. Stop drinking and all these things.
Sure.
But I forgot about that as days passed by. I started this morning, Saturday, I was busy sifting umqombothi at home.
But yes.
Yeah, as I was doing that, that voice came back again.
Okay.
I said, stop this if you want to find what will fill your heart. There and then I thought to myself that, okay, that's it. Then I stopped drinking that day
That same
until
day.
today.
Wow.
And
That's
then,
amazing.
I met God. Then I visited another church. I'm trying to summarize the story. I visited another church. Immediately when I got inside, then that voice came back again. That now you are in the right place. And then from here on, I'll be in control of your life. Wow. I started feeling this love inside of me that I've never experienced, this contentment.
Wow.
I started loving my father without seeing
Without
him.
even meeting him.
But I started loving him.
So it
I
changed.
started understanding situations, playing with situations in my mind without even him explaining himself. Then that made me to have this open mind. Then there came a guy when I was doing standard 5 at school who had the surname as same as my father.
Yeah.
Then I befriended him.
Oh. Because now you know the
I know the
surname
surname.
and the name. Did you
and
know the first name?
I know the first name.
Okay.
So now I can't just ask this guy because
But you were-
I'm a cheater.
you were
We don't talk,
investigating.
but I will stay close to him. I'll make him my friend so that at the right time
Okay.
I will ask. I was selling sweets.
He didn't
He didn't.
He didn't suspect anything.
I was selling sweets and apples. They would steal those as boys.
Okay.
I'll beat others and leave him.
He
So
was
now
curious.
that he knows, he will go back about, oh, that's why. But
when he looked back, but those
well,
days,
I didn't want to push him far away. I was waiting for a right time until we were doing a standard 8, which is grade 10.
Grade 10.
He's going, we're taking the mid-year break.
Yeah.
I asked him, where are you going? He said, I'm going to my uncle. Then I said, who is your uncle? Jane passing. My uncle, Wuzil.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He mentioned the name.
Wow. Then I knew that I got him.
Oh,
then
and
I
you already
said, no,
know because you already know his first name.
Then I said, oh, pass my greetings to your uncle.
Wow.
Then was Tulela Nje, because passing your greetings like you don't even know my
He's not even going to remember.
Yeah, Uteta Njelo.
He's just saying.
So he went away and I went away. The guy didn't finish a week there. He went Umtata.
Okay.
And like it's about 2 hours.
Yes.
Indwe,
Indwe,
where I was.
Oh, okay.
He came back as I was playing soccer on the field. I see him coming.
Yeah.
Then I knew that something, I've hit my jackpot.
Wow.
Then he comes back before the holidays ends.
So he came early. He came back early.
No, I've come to fetch you. Why didn't you tell me?
Oh. So
Tell you what?
Yeah.
Man, that my uncle is your father. When oh, okay. No, we don't talk about these things.
So he relayed this. So he spoke
so
to
when
his
he got
uncle
there,
about
the
you.
uncle asked him, where do you go to school now? He said, no, I go to Ida. That was the area where I was.
The school.
Oh, okay. He knew I was there. Do you know Simphiwe? Omnye Simphiwe wapi? No, Simphiwe wakwa Kanityi. Which is my mother's name.
Yeah.
No, man, how do you know Simphiwe? Simphiwe a friend, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, Simphiwe is my child. Then he couldn't stay.
Wow, he couldn't believe.
Come back, couldn't believe.
He couldn't believe.
Beg me for us to go back
to go there to meet him.
So that was the first time I went to see my father.
So you went with him during the school break or another
during
day?
the school break
before you reopened the school?
Before we reopened. He came back today. Tomorrow we went back.
Did you tell your grandma that?
I didn't.
You just went?
I didn't. I just told one person at home
that you're going.
Who understood the situation. But others I didn't tell because it was going to be
But this time you're still at grade 10, like standard 8?
I'm still at standard 8 at this time.
So you just took your stuff and then went with your friend?
I went with my friend who is my cousin.
Well, your cousin now.
Then we went. Then we get there. My father is working.
Yeah.
Because we get there around 3 in the afternoon.
So you're still at work?
He's still at work, and there is my stepmom.
Oh, he had now married someone else
and
had kids. He has kids as well.
There's twins and a little boy.
Wow.
And a very small child. So 4 kids already.
With this new wife.
With this new wife. Then I am there, like we're sitting, waiting for him to come back.
Who's there at home? Was the wife?
The wife was there.
Oh, the wife was there.
Yeah. So like I don't know, like we don't have something to talk about. It's we're waiting with his wife. We're just waiting for the father to come back. I don't know what will happen. So, yeah, and because she's a quiet person, even the wife. Okay. So I understand now why she was quiet. Like she's a quiet person by nature. Like we didn't have something to say to each other, so we had
she also didn't know you
and sit on the back house and wait for the father to come back. So yeah, that was the story.
And then he arrived eventually.
Then tin story sakho ndiyambuza like
what happened?
Like what happened?
What happened? Why did you leave us?
Why did you leave us? No, like he was a person with anger issues.
Wow.
No, it's your mother. Go ask your mother.
Oh,
They know when I ask my mother, they won't tell me anything.
They won't tell me.
So won't you tell me anything now, Gola?
Yo.
No, your mother took you away from me.
That's what he said.
I was working in Joburg. He was working at the mines, this side, and left my mother alone with umama wake.
Oh, Mawak, yeah.
Then when umama wake passed on, my mother was left alone in the rurals.
Yes.
And utata ulapa comes back once a year
Once a year.
or once in 2 years.
Yo.
So my mother got tired of that situation, and
Okay.
wow, because like she was alone.
She was alone, yes.
And when she was going back, they had me. So
it was during that transition.
during that transition, she went back with me. I was still maybe a month old.
Maybe like, maybe 2 months, yeah.
So I even sent people to go and bring you clothes. Because I'm asking, so now you don't even send anything. I am suffering as if you're not working.
Or you don't exist.
Or you don't exist. No, I sent my sisters and they were chased away. So now it rings a bell. When I was growing up, like I did see these 2 ladies coming with clothes, plastics.
You remember now?
Yeah. And then every time when visitors comes, we are chased away as kids to go and play. So that you don't eavesdrop on what people are saying. And then they went back with their clothes. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So now it makes you even angry.
With those
even
with
this
those other people now.
Yeah, but also he did try. And they were chased away.
He did try.
So that was it, and you just gave up like that.
Like that.
Because like if you wanted to pursue a relationship with me, it's not only about clothes.
No, it's also not a once-off. He should have tried even more.
It's so not about that clothes. Was it.
It's not about clothes. It's about the relationship.
No, that is what in game like. That's what in the God. Okay.
So he gave up.
Still proud. So anyway, I'm good because the Lord now has dealt with me before.
So you were a different person.
So
obviously.
I was a totally different person. I had no demands. I had nothing. I was just grateful to see him and my half brothers and sisters.
Of course.
But now I can't demand anything. I can't even demand time because he has other kids to give his time.
He's got a relationship. He's got another family.
A total new family now.
Yeah.
Of which I don't want now to also be a burden.
A burden to them.
This new family and rob them because of what he did in the past with me. So now we spend some time having that courtship, struggling.
So when you went back home, you told your grandma.
I went back home. I told my granny
where you had been.
Where I've been and that I met him.
Wow.
Okay. So no, your mother will tell you the entire story.
So Ugogo now didn't want to get
now
involved.
At least now she's no longer like as strong as she was back then.
Okay.
Now because I'm a good boy.
She was more understanding.
I'm a good boy, so when she talks to me, like because because of the situation at home, I was the first person to study beyond grade standard 2.
Serious? In the family?
In the entire family.
Wow.
So now I'm doing a grade 10.
And
so
now you're in grade 10. So they were looking up to you, the other kids.
And mind you, they've been pursuing me to stop.
Serious?
Yes.
To stop school?
To stop schooling. Go and find employment.
Find a job. Serious?
Like now, every grade you progress to. Why don't you stop?
And go find a job.
They stop. Even they stop.
Because the benchmark was so low in the community that no one had progressed to that level. So
then I said, no, I'm not stopping. No, we don't have money. I will make my own means. Hence, I was selling sweets, selling apples. Yeah. Because out of that, I was able to buy myself clothes for school.
For school, from that money.
To rent. Because during that time, when I was, they moved.
In high school.
Yeah, they moved to this Legally town.
Yes.
And I was left on the farms.
Okay.
So I had to find a place there to finish my schooling. So that I don't.
So you were renting as well in a different place.
Renting.
Yes.
So to buy food, to do all these things, I had to take that responsibility upon myself to make sure.
Yeah.
Now I already know that my father is there. When we have school trips, you ask for money, he doesn't have it.
Doesn't have it.
Like you.
But
can't
you were maintaining
understand.
contact now. By
Once
that time.
in
Was
a
it
while.
telephone?
Telephone
Okay.
sometimes.
But he
it
didn't
was
visit.
once in
He
a-
didn't come to
didn't.
visit.
He didn't come to visit.
But you would go that side.
No,
It was
that
just.
was the one.
That was just the ones off.
That's the ones.
When you
off.
wanted.
Like I didn't want to be too much in there to cause
okay.
more problems for him.
For him as well.
Because I like growing up, I thought that he ran away because I was a burden. Now that he has another family, I didn't want to be burdened.
It's a bit
to
complex
that
as
family.
well.
So I had to come to senses that you are on your own. You have to make it work by yourself. You can't be burdened. You can't cause troubles. Or because if like you cause troubles to that marriage, he ends up leaving that marriage
As well.
You make those kids to grow up like you as well.
Yeah,
So I didn't want to rob them that.
Yeah.
So I had to maintain my distance while I maintain some contact.
While you're trying to maintain some contact, yeah.
So I went to varsity. I want money to register. How much? I don't have money.
No, he doesn't have.
I called my mother this side. I want to register. They don't have money. So I'm on my own. Hence, I was saying now that the absence of my father didn't automatically mean that my mother was
Because
present.
even the mother was not.
My mother was not present. She was maintaining her marriage this side.
As well.
And I also got to know that this side, I was not known that I was her child.
Oh, in this new marriage.
She had to hide me this side.
As well. Oh my God.
So now when all those things came out, I grew up knowing that, okay, she could phone everywhere.
Both sides.
No one wants me.
Yeah.
So
That's a tough position.
It's a tough position
to be in.
But I just thank God it didn't develop to suicidal
of course. I mean, look
because
at you
it
now.
could have easily.
It could have, yeah.
And it could easily have pushed me to drugs or something.
To something else.
You see.
Because you were looking for your identity.
Because
and
I tried to find identity. And
or
the
you were
only
trying
people
to
that
ignore.
I can relate it to is people who have the same situation, but they live other kind of life.
Wow.
They are in drugs. Some in that generation of the people that I grew up with, I think I'm the one who is alive or who is not in jail.
Because the environment was just
The
tough.
environment was tough.
Yeah.
Majority of them, when I go back, I'm a drugs is babulele.
When you go look at same age as you.
Same age as me. Sometimes they even will mistake me like with the young boys. They will say, hey, go do this. Like
Serious?
they don't even know me.
They don't even recognize you.
Because of how things have changed between me and them.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had to make it happen. I had to tell myself that when I have kids, I need to have kids at the right time where I know that I will be present, which made me now not to be sexually active at the
wrong, especially at school level.
Way, knowing that I could easily make a baby that I was not going to be able to take care
of. Yeah.
Because now the situation, because this thing it has this cultural element. Yeah. Because now if you can't pay lobola, then you can't have access to your kids.
Yeah.
You come and stand on the road, we'll show you the kid, but until you bring us
can't have a relationship.
You can't have a relationship. So that's what is happening with the black people, with the black culture today.
They will deny access until
they will deny your
unless
access
you've paid
until
something.
you have paid something. Hence, even now, the ladies, when they want to trap you, they will make you.
They will make you have a child. Yeah.
Now, because you're not ready to have a child, you stay away. Because you are not ready. Mentally, you have to be ready, even if you are married.
Yeah.
3 years into my marriage, I didn't want kids because I was still dealing with myself.
You're still dealing, yes.
And I didn't want to bring someone that I would be responsible while I'm still trying to put things into perspective myself.
It's amazing. Can you fast forward to a point where you eventually got married and had your own kids? How was that for you to navigate because of this background? I can imagine your new person, your wife, must have wanted to understand this background. Ukuthi wakhuliswa kanjani? Was she invested in wanting to know about this background, and how did that shape your relationship in the marriage?
Yeah, so I should say, even like for single dads out there, like
Yes.
to get to understand this point, this is my personal experience.
Yes.
So maybe you haven't made up your mind that you want to be involved in your child's life. You just send money. It's beyond money. The things that we go through, because number one, socially, you are a suspect before you do anything. If anything goes wrong,
You're a suspect.
it's these kids who do not have fathers.
Ish.
So we grew up in that environment. Police come, they must come to us first. We have to be interrogated because we don't have a father. Therefore, we are the ones, we are the culprits.
Yo.
Romantically speaking, no families wanted us to be close with their kids.
Ish.
Because the assumption is that if you don't have a father, it means you're ill-mannered.
You're ill-mannered, yeah.
Yeah. You want to corrupt
You're going to rape
kids.
them, you're going to corrupt them.
Yeah, so they don't want to be associated with us, which brings me now to this part where I found a person that I want to marry. Then when the family wanted to know more, where do you come from? Who are you?
Yeah.
So that question of identity, you struggle with it in every level of your life. So we make our kids to go through that when we are not present to give them identity. Now I had to relive my whole situation all over again.
When you are now starting your
Now
own
I'm starting
family.
lobola negotiations and all those things. No, we can't send our child to such a family. A family NJ.
There was no structure.
There is no structure. Who are we going to say we hand over our family, our child?
Who's going to accept?
Are we taking our child to the Kanityis or taking our child to the Silosinis?
To the Silosinis, yes.
Now, what is your clan name?
Exactly.
Are you Mkwati or are you Mgcina? Wakwasilosini?
Silosini.
Now I have to make a choice now. Like, no, you go back and change your surname, change everything, so then we can hear you now. Now, like, you are forced to do things that you never thought that, like, you will get to a point of starting even to think. So that was the situation. Like, you are not trusted. People,
so how did you eventually convince them
I have to put a track record. I grew up in this environment like this.
And explained everything.
Now I'm coming to you. I've passed my junior degree. I've done my honors. Like, I have my own direction that I want to pursue. So if that is not convincing enough, then you can take your child.
What more do you want?
Take your child, then it's fine. So I had to come to that point of forcing my way as well.
This is who I am. And
if
this
you
is my
can't
story.
accept me, you want a perfect family, then take your child to a perfect family.
Someone else.
Then I'll find someone else who will take me as I am.
As you are.
Then they had now to try to understand and compromise here and there.
Yeah.
And now we get married, we have kids. Now that thing, as I was saying, that this thing of fatherlessness, it unfolds in different stages of life. Now you are working, you have your own family, but some way in trying to overcompensate for what your father did not provide, you want to overcompensate
You always
in
want
your kids.
one step back.
Now you want to work more so that your kids will never be in your position when you were young. You want to provide for them. Forgetting that also, because I will take over times and work until night. You come back. So in my book, I write also saying that they are present but absent fathers. You have a present father inside their house, but who is absent because they are not involved. Emotionally, they are not there. They are just here as toys.
And you were, and I was looking at this introduction here that you tell your story in so eloquently in such a way that it's just so emotional and authentic. And because in this channel we talk a lot about sending yourself to your child, not just sending gifts and money, because parenting is about presence. And provision is a component of it, but it's not the only answer.
And the reality is that we don't want money. We don't want
the kids want you.
We want when you come, we are able to jump on you
and play with you.
That is the experience that we're longing for.
And those memories actually stick.
They last forever.
They stick with you. But the gift, the cell phone or a good game, you get used to very quickly.
You get used to
but
it.
Those memories
will break and you'll forget about it. You want some
But
more.
Memories, you can't replace a memory with another.
You can't.
You can even go to the same place to play with your dad. It should be different. Yeah?
It's different.
Even if you play at the same place. But the memories will never be erased.
They will never be erased. Now, even when I think about my few instances with my father, he passed on while we were still in that trying to build. Number one, I can't call him dad. Like I call him dad because he's old, but not because I have that relationship. So I struggled to call him Otata.
Because you had not gotten to that stage.
He had not gotten to that stage. Remember, to call someone Utata, it's not a matter of a sperm donation.
Of course. No. It has to be a relationship. Yeah.
It's a relationship. We are not relational.
It's not just a name.
There's nothing that connects us.
At what stage then, Bafo, did you then think, I want to document my story. I want to share my story and hopefully to inspire other families out there not to do this or to avoid doing this. And at what stage was that?
All right. So I've started my story when I was doing my first year in varsity. That was in 2006.
Okay.
Back then, we were just celebrated at church.
Okay.
This group of young people against all odds. Managed to finish matric. So the church was celebrating us. And the theme of that celebration, or the preacher, the theme was Nenyibiba Yakula Estrogen. Nenyibiba is a lily.
It's a lily,
the softest of the plants, but it can grow on arid areas.
Wow.
Like the cows will tremble on it.
That's a nice metaphor.
Even if it's on its side.
Yes.
So I took that because I was a writer. I'm in mediamos.
Of course.
So I wanted to do a poem. Okay. Because I wrote poems back in the days.
Yeah.
I dealt with sonnets, short poems.
Yes.
But as I was writing, it became a page. It went to a second page. Then it was just so long. This is not a poem. Why can't I write a book?
It feels like a book.
This?
Wow.
And that time, I felt that it's long for a poem, but it's not.
But
long
it's also
enough
not.
For a
it's
book.
not long enough.
So I thought, I don't have a story, so I shelved it.
So this was 2006.
2006.
So you put it aside.
So I shelved it. I just wrote it as a poem, and I sent it back to my school where I was to motivate the other learners who were doing grade 12 and the little ones. So I shelved it until 2017.
Yes.
2017, I thought, 2016.
Yeah.
2016, I thought, I have to, because now I'm a church person, I'm a pastor, by the way. Mm-hmm. So I deal with a lot of boys who do not have father. Then I remember that.
You have a story to share. Yeah.
I have a story to share. So I started an organization which is called the Real Men of Direction.
Yes, I see that.
Which is Remedy in short. Which means remedying the male situation.
Yes.
A remedy in short. Mm-hmm. So I started with that. Then I thought that there I specialize with mentorship, doing conferences and seminars.
Yes.
Then I thought that there are places where I won't reach, where my book can
but
go.
But through this, it can reach anywhere globally.
Yes. That's when I thought that now it's about time.
So this is now 2016, 2017.
2016.
And you started carrying on
with
other chapters.
With my story. But I think I wrote 2 pages, then I shelved it again until 2018. 2018, I revisited it. Then again.
Yeah.
Then only in 2020. Then I thought that, no, like
This
I'm
is it.
delaying myself. And now the COVID has just hit. Like we can't
got
go
time-
around
you've
do
got time to pen
conferences.
it.
You see, now this is a good time where
Yes.
people will be sitting and they're reading about this story.
Yeah.
Being motivated because nothing, like the country's on lockdown.
Of course.
Then I thought, okay, I'm giving myself a week to do this. It's a story that I have anyway. So I sat there on my
And you're not
laptop.
looking for words. It's you
No,
telling your story.
I just need
You
courage
just
to
need-
make sure that I pour everything.
Wow.
Then I poured it in one day.
Serious.
I wrote that book.
Wow.
And then I had now a week to look at curating it.
And for publishers and
And
things.
I sent it to my friend. My friend read it and asked the question, who is your reader? Did my reader is everyone? Because the issue of fatherlessness affects
No, it doesn't touch the fathers only. Yeah.
it affects everyone.
Everyone.
Did you want that family that I'm married to? They're well-functional family. Everything is like a working oiled machine, but they had to deal with me. So it means
With
it
your background,
affects them.
it affects them.
It affects them. In the locations, you have a nice house and I'm starving on this side. The first person I think I can get bread is your house. So it affects you even in the community. So this story affects everyone.
It's not just
We are married to people who are fatherless. Like your child will be married to that. Like it affects
and there are fatherless fathers. Many that come to this show, fatherless fathers that are struggling to father their kids because of their
background.
they haven't told their stories to heal. Because also telling your story like this is not just sharing your story, but it's also healing for you.
Getting it out.
Because
of
getting
the
it
system.
out of your system is also part of sharing. How do you find an opportunity as a pastor, as a minister? Obviously, you work in communities. And I was talking in this show about spiritual fathers, the role of spiritual fathers to fatherless kids. How do you find time and opportunity to share your story in public, in communities, to just raise awareness about the importance of fatherhood and present fatherhood?
Okay, so I always look back, like it wasn't all bad when I was growing up. There is this one man in the community, in the farms.
Yeah.
Also, he didn't have a father when I look in their family. There were 2 brothers and 3 sisters.
Okay.
And then this was the older male figure that I looked up to
In the community.
in the community. A person who was so proud of me when I achieved something. And he had a tagline that he would use. Every time I do something brilliant, that
He was
pushed
encouraging
me.
you.
That pushed me. And he's the one who opened certain opportunities. He was not saved. He had nothing to gain from me. So we can't take lightly the role that we play in the lives of people who look up to us, be it intentional or unintentional.
Or otherwise.
So it means that we have to be people of values.
Yes.
And we need to live by those values. If you live with your values, you've got something to give to the next generation. So it means, I struggled even to connect to fathers in church. Because I didn't have a father. A father will tell you to do something. And now I grew up doing things by myself. No one telling me what to do. So now we have these opportunities that we do. I'm involved. I have this Real Men of Direction.
Yes.
Where we do these conferences and these seminars.
In community seminars, yes.
Yeah, in different communities.
Okay.
And under it, we've got different sections. There's a section where for men who want to reconnect with their kids.
Yes.
Some, they were chased away a long time ago. They don't even know where they are. if you want to begin the process of tracing back to find them, I assist in that. People who are looking for their fathers, because there are people who are looking for their fathers still. There's these shows or Kumbule Kaya or Utadako, they stem from this problem. It's a long standing problem in our society.
No, it's a big problem.
So, like, you have to be intentional now, even in organizing certain events around church calendar, to say this is for men, this is for ladies, because it's not only a male child, the issue of fatherlessness.
No.
Ladies are going through the same thing. So we have to create platforms. Mine is creating platforms for people to take their story out of their chest.
That's amazing.
So in these seminars, we open up this platform where if you have a story to tell, how does it make you feel? Like, what would you want to see?
And I think it's powerful. Platforms, seminars, workshops. I mean, in this network, we arrange workshops about fatherlessness, about fatherhood, and about healing. Because not everyone is going to write a book about their story, but they say, tell your story. Even if it's verbal, through a conference, through a seminar, we encourage that. How do people find more information about your programs and about your outreach program?
Okay, at the moment, my website is still under development, but I have my pages on Facebook.
On Facebook, so
Facebook, I have a page under Real Men of Direction.
Real Men of Direction, yeah.
And I also have a page under the book In Pursuit of My Father.
Yes, as well.
Because the next thing now from the book, I was contemplating between a movie and many people, but no, do a documentary.
A documentary, okay.
Because a documentary, it's more real,
of course,
than a stage movie.
So people can find you on social.
It's that project. They can find me on social media.
On social, that's fine. We'll
and
share
then
that.
we can connect.
Wow. That's amazing, my friend. This is a big story that it just makes me emotional. I was telling you earlier that I was raised in a big family and really didn't have a relationship with my dad because I'm number last in a big family of 10. So, and he died when I was young. So I didn't have a hug from him. He never told me he loves me. He never checked on my schoolwork. So really, I was raised by my siblings. So my story is a bit different because I knew him and he was always there and he was present, but we didn't have a relationship. I was only speaking to him either when I was taking instructions or when he was asking me about his tools or about something. So really, it was not a conversation.
And that's what came out when I was in Cape Town in Worcester doing the same program.
Okay.
Then the people who were in that hall, they say, no, as we listening to you talking, we have our fathers at home, but we long for what you longed for.
Oh, wow.
Because though we
similar,
have them,
but they were
home,
not
they
involved.
are not providing what you're looking for, what you're talking about. So that's what we also say, that this topic, it even affects fathers who think that they are present.
Even under the same roof.
To re-look at
their role.
How they think they are playing an impact in their kids' lives.
Yes, because that
is important.
Because even if they're raising kids, and there was one lady that came to my show, and she said, can my husband come to your Single Dads network? I said, why? Because he's not a single father. Actually, you live with him, and you're raising 2 kids as a family. She said, let me tell you something. That husband of mine knows nothing about the kids. He delegates everything to me. If I ask him the shoe size of his kids, he will not tell me. I try to drag him on weekends when we go to play football and hockey. He's not interested. His response is, I put roof over your head. You don't go hungry. You've got a house, and I send these kids to school. What do you want from me? His understanding of parenting and of role of father is just provision, to provide these things. And he believes he does not have to have a relationship with his kids.
And sometimes you can't blame him, because I grew up under
he also
that
was
environment.
Raised as well.
When I was asking about my father, they would ask me, what do you lack?
What do you lack?
Don't you have a house? So now we have reduced fatherhood
to
materialistic
material
provisions.
things and provisions.
But it's way beyond that.
It is.
When I get home now, like I was at church, I start church very early. I have 2 services Sunday. I start in Thameside at 7. Then I come to mid-rent. Then I'm here. When I go home, when I park the car, the kids, they're always looking for the car. If Dad is back, they will say from the park, Dad is back, and they will run. They will hug me. Do you have any surprise for us? Then I have to take out something and give them. Like you dish and you put their food, and you put my food. They want to come to eat from my plate.
From your plate.
That is the experience
that is
the
the
kids
experience.
Want. Not to say, no, I've bought food, there is food.
Not gadgets.
Eat food, play with your phone. Like, that is not...
Because the bonding, when they eat from your plate, that's the bonding.
That is the bonding. That is the experience.
That is the experience. As we close, Simphiwe, what would you say to those fathers that are saying, listen, I'm providing everything. What do you want from me? What did you say to the fathers that believe so religiously that my role is to make your life comfortable? My role is not to have a relationship with the kid. What did you say to those fathers? Let's forget about whether the mother is there or whether they are married or not. I want you to use this camera in front of you and talk and pretend you're addressing those fathers that are reluctant to get involved in their kids, that have given up, that are delusional, that are stressed, that are saying, as long as I send the money, my job is done. What did you say to them?
All right. Number one, the thing that I didn't touch is the issue of apartheid.
Oh, yes.
How it plays the role into this mess that we find ourselves in.
Yeah.
Because when I look back now, it's still happening now. You go to the Eastern Cape, fathers are not present. They are working in Rustenburg in the mines. When they are tired, when they are sick and unable to work, they are sent back. Their sons are taken here. So there is also a system that is at play strategically to make sure that a black man will never be present in his own household. Take a white man from Germany to come and coach Bafana Bafana. They will bring their entire family here because they believe in that family unit. That is what we need to look at, number one. And that system, it has reduced our role and how we see ourselves as these money-making machines. As long as you make money, then they can leave. You don't have to be present there. But my story must be a motivation to you. Look at my story. Like, I did not need money from my father. I needed him to be there. When I go to play, like I was a good athlete, I would run and I would hear parents on the stand cheering for the kids that I left behind. That is the experience that we are looking for. I would pass at school. Now, ever since I started school, up to matric, we used positions there. I always was position number 1 all the way. But when I go home to say I've achieved this, no one is proud to say that you have done well. I'm proud of you. Like, that is the experience that we are looking for. So as the fathers, there are two hinges. There are two hinges in the issue of fatherhood. The hinge of production and that of relation. Well, this door is hanging on two hinges. When one of these hinges is not working, that door is not properly functioning. So the issue of, like, the fact that you have produced a child is not enough. You need the second hinge, a relationship. There is a lot that you can pass. And I always say that to be present in the kid of your life, you don't have to have a perfect relationship with their mom. You don't even to have been married. It's
not dependent.
It's not dependent on that. The fact that a child exists, that is all the basis where you have to focus your entire energy to make sure that you are present, not in money. We are conditioned to think about no, providing money it's enough.
Now
and we keep on sending money, we keep on making kids all
and we
over.
Think they'll behave.
Then we think they will behave because we give them a lot of money, food. That is not the case. Like we need to change the way we think as men and rethink being present in the lives of our kids.
I love it.
And we are here to help.
Absolutely.
To help. Because we know that there is no book for a perfect dad.
No, doesn't exist.
But we wing it as we go. But we are here to help.
To share our
make
stories.
You to be a better father that you can possibly be. And it's free of charge.
Free of charge. And for you watching, continue to get involved in our channel because we bring people like Simphiwe that have been there, have written about it, and have experienced it and continue to work in communities to share their stories and share their knowledge and continue to subscribe on our network and follow our channel. My brother, this was beautiful and I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.